Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here. Welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today I'm doing a kind of different video than I normally do. Today is a video on how to spend in Ever Crisis, and more focused, how to spend as either a Minnow or a Dolphin. So if you're a free-to-play player, I apologize guys, but this probably isn't the video for you guys, although it might be educational to follow along. And for the whales, I appreciate all that you guys do for the game. Thank you guys so much, but I don't think you guys need a guide on how to spend on stuff. I think you guys just go ham on the banners, which sounds like a ton of fun. There's definitely a few banners that I wish I could do that on. But that being said, today I'm going to be going into the shop, kind of overviewing how I spend in this game, which I think is one of the more efficient ways to do it. I mean, I haven't really talked to that many players on how they spend here and there, but I do want to preface it with this game is the most free-to-play friendly game I've ever played, and in no way, shape, or form is this a video where I am trying to convince you guys as players to spend. Obviously, I think it's all of our own responsibilities to know where, our needs and necessities in life, responsibilities lie, and I urge everyone to spend responsibly. So that being said, this video is for those of you who would like to kind of observe what I believe to be an efficient way of spending in this game. And so that being said, I think that there's a ton of things to buy in Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, but in my humble opinion, I think that only very few things are actually worth spending on in this game. So I'm going to show you guys what they are. And like I said, this is a video that's geared towards like minnows and or dolphins. So the very first thing on my list is going to be the season pass. And now I feel like the season pass is more relevant than it was before, or more pertinent. And the reason being is because of this right here. So this is the 5-star weapon voucher. In my opinion, this is probably the best thing that you can buy in the game. If you look at a lot of the things that you get in the shop, tons of them come with 5-star weapon draw tickets, Tifa, Aerith, Yuffie, Lucia, 5-star guaranteed tickets, but you're still pulling out of a big pool of weapons, and that is still a gamble. So when I play a gacha game, I try to take the gamble out of it, right? I'm not here to just be trying to gamble with my money. I want to spend efficiently. I want to support Ever Crisis and Applebot and Square Enix with the means that I can, in a way that is sustainable, in a way that still gives me a challenge in the game, and in a way that, it can be fun for me here and there to buy something, and, it's like getting a new little gift for myself. But that being said, I honestly don't spend too often in this game. I haven't spent anything on this game since January 1st, which was the last big holiday bundle. Normally when it comes to these type of gacha games, I wait for the big holiday type bundles. So like Easter, Black Friday, Christmas, New Year's, that kind of thing. So like 3-4 times a year, because during that point in time, they release really good versions of bundles that normally come out, right? So any of the standard bundles, I think, are not worth it, because we already know that a few times a year we're going to get kind of like Super Saiyan versions of those bundles, and that would be the time to spend. So to wait for that time and then maybe drop money here and there, separated by a few months here and there. But in the meantime, these weapon vouchers, which can be purchased in the shop at 2 different prices. One is for 5,000 paid, and the other is for 3,000 paid. I believe the 5,000 paid one happens every month. It's basically always up. I don't think that one's worth it. 5,000 paid for a single guaranteed weapon is, I think, outside of my realm of spending. But 3K paid for a guaranteed weapon, however, is more within the realm, and I think super efficient. So as you can see here, I tend to save these, so I have 4. And when I use these is like, let's say there's a new content coming out, and it's super difficult. For example, EX2 Bahamut was one of those things. That was a really hard fight, but it was because I had one of these that I was able to take my edged wings from OB9 to OB10 and really up my damage for the DPS check going on with him. So this is where these come in handy, you know, because you get a weapon and it can be any weapon you want. And so I never spend them right away because you don't know what you need them for, right? Like more or less if you've beaten all the content in the game, and I will only do this if I'm absolutely just getting my like ass handed to me by a boss. And then you can go into this and use this as kind of a means to, you know, as like kind of a trump card, right? So now that the season pass has this, I feel like the premium version of it is so useful. So for me, this is one purchase that I make each month as long as they don't change it. Also, you get a bunch of other extra crystals in here. There's 900 right here, 900 more, 500, 500, 500, 500. Plus you get the cool, what is this? The cool wallpaper right here. This one's actually pretty sweet. You have Lucia, Tifa, Aerith, and Yuffie. Gosh, I'd love to take them all on a date. But yeah, so for me, the very first thing, the season pass. I think that for anyone that is even a Minnow, I think that if you're buying the season pass once a month and that's all you're doing, I would say that that's like a Minnow player. I think, honestly, there's really no need to go beyond that. Now, if you are going beyond that, you're kind of tipping into the lower end scale of a Dolphin. So I'm going to go in here and observe these banners, give you my thoughts on them, which ones I think are important, which ones are not. And to be truthfully honest, I think that like 98% of these are not really worth it. So for example, right, we have here the Valentine's pack. Now we have a 5-star single weapon guaranteed draw ticket. However, we have Lucia, Yuffie, Aerith, and Tifa on banner. So how are you going to get the weapon that you want when you're pulling on this? Like, this is a total gamble. So even though it's 1,500 paid, it's just not worth it in my opinion. You get the 10 gacha tickets, but it's just not worth it, right? Now, that aside, and I'm not really going to look at these other little ones right here. Like, this isn't worth it. You know, these items right here, the nano cubes, the genome pods, all this stuff is farmable. You don't need to be paying for this. So essentially what you're paying for right here is the 1,200 paid crystals, right? But if you are going to go for paid crystals, you're going to wait for that type of holiday bundle. For example, and I'm going to take a little dive tangent here. Let's go down to the crystals and see what you can get for $70, right? So for $70, you can get 10,800 paid crystals or 2,000 regular crystals, right? Which leaves us with a total of 12,800 crystals, which is 4 pulls, right? Not that many. It's not even, you know, if you get 1 stamp each time, it's not even halfway through the stamp pity. Now, for the holidays, and this was the last thing I bought, there was a version of this that came with 16,400 crystals instead of 12,800. Now, to me, that was the go-in bargain. And I still have 2K paid crystals left over even from that, and I bought that over a month ago, right? So, and really, the only thing I ever spend them on is weapon exchange vouchers. So, like the 3K one. So, like if we go here to the Final Fantasy 7 day, I can go down here and show you that I did purchase this for 3,000 paid crystals, the legendary FF7 Day Pack 2, because it came with a weapon exchange ticket. Other than that, and I think there is a 5,000 one in here somewhere. Let's see here. But to me, this one's just not worth it. You know, when you pull on a new banner and you pull the featured weapon, and then you get 2 of them, and then it pops up, you can get a 3rd one for 5K. To me, 5K for a single weapon, that's just pushing it too far, right? Because then we're basically like, let's see here, 5K paid. You're essentially paying like what, $30 for a single copy of a weapon when we're trying to get 10 of them. So that's like grand total $300 or something like that, which I think not really worth it. So for me, I will probably buy one of these crystal packs like 2, maybe 3 times a year, depending, but only when those special versions come out. Like I said, during Easter, during Christmas, during Black Friday, something like that, where you're really getting a bang for your buck. And then when I come back and look at these regular bundles, they just lose their value to me, right? Now, other than that, I mean, because more or less everything in here is very similar. The only other enticing kind of thing would be something like this, right? Where you have the 8,800 paid crystals, You get a 5-star weapon Cloud guaranteed ticket, the same thing for Tifa, but then you also get the Cloud specific weapon parts for Cloud and Tifa, right? Now, this is important, I think, only for 3 characters in the game, right? Cloud, Tifa, Sephiroth, right? I'm not going to bring in Aerith, even though she had the Garnet Rod, which is also limited, but the Garnet Rod was... I don't think anyone pulled on that banner for the Garnet Rod. I think everyone pulled on it for the Garnet costume, which is an amazing costume. But at first glance, this looks like it's a great deal, right? But for those of you out there that got your Zidane sword to like OB1, OB2, maybe even OB3 when it first launched, obviously, like me, you're trying to get it up into the OB6 as close to OB10 as you can. However, at first glance, this bundle looks so enticing, but let's look at the 5-star Cloud weapon guarantee ticket. The limited weapon isn't on there. It's not on there for Tifa either. And then, so for me, for Cloud, I'm normally working 1 or 2 things, like I'm trying to get Hard Edge to OB6 right now. But if I'm pulling this, I'm pulling out of a pool of like, what, 12 weapons? So it's like a 1 in 12 chance of getting the one that I want. Now, if you needed a bunch of his weapons, maybe. But I think just wait for them to give you kind of stuff like this for free over time. Now, if we look at the Cloud-specific weapon parts, which is probably the most valuable part of this other than the paid crystals, you're going to see that, let's say you had Zidane's sword at OB2, right? You're trying to get it to OB6. You need to go OB3, OB4, OB5, OB6. That's 800 weapon-specific parts that you need, right? We're going to get 100 from this. So technically, in order to get your sword up to the OB6 level, 4 OB levels, you would have to buy 8 of these bundles. So at $60 each, 6 times 8 is 48. That's $480 for 4 dupes. So, I mean, you will get a ton of paid crystals along the way, essentially enough for like 1 banner, but like you don't really want to spend the paid crystals pulling on regular stamp banners, right? And then I just feel like something like this is enticing at first, but when you really look at it, kind of loses the enticement of it when you realize how much you're going to need. So, you know, I've gotten one of these in the past, and since then I haven't done it, and I don't think I will in the future. I think that I'm just going to be stuck with my very, very, very slow build of the Zidane sword, even though it's so freaking cool. But it is what it is, right? So that being said, I mean, all these other ones, Barrett, Lucia, Glenn, Red 13, Matt, Zach, none of them have limited weapons right now. So these essentially, I mean, if you're wailing out, more power to you. Thank you for supporting the game. I love this game too. But for a Minnow or a Dolphin player, they're not really going to be useful or worth the money, in my opinion. So for me, like I said, stick to the weapon exchange voucher tickets for 3K paid. You know, wait for the special holiday bundles where you can pick up more crystals and then have it last a period of time, 2-3 months if you spend it right. But yeah, like I was saying, there's not much to spend on, right? Now, if we go into, let's see here, as you guys can see, I bought this one $2 thing. I think at the beginning when the game first came out, I buy this free daily pack every single day. The passes, I'm not gonna lie, they're a bit of a fucking letdown, right? Like the stamina pass, you know, $19 for 1 week, right? And we can burn 120 stamina pots in like a single day sometimes. They added the 3K paid onto here to bump up the price of it. I just don't like the idea of it. Maybe if it lasted for a month, and then even then, I think maybe only 1 month out of a year I might do this, just if there's something that you really needed, right? But with the recent stuff like the bomb event and stuff like that to help you level up, which thank the gods they did that, you don't really need it. The soldier pass, I don't know why anyone needs this. The boost pass, definitely helpful, but definitely not needed. So I skip all of these. The memories, you know, the nice thing about having a little bit of paid crystals on deck is that, you know, if you do need something like this, you can pick it up, but 20 cloud memories, which you can get in a day of doing the premiums, or close to in a day of doing the premiums, I just don't think it's really worth it, right? Now, if we go into the dailies, the only thing I've ever really picked up in the dailies is this 10 stamina potions for 300. But like I said before, where the bundles get better during special holidays, you know, they had one where you could get 15 stamina potions for 300 instead of 10. So now that I've seen that, I won't be getting the 10 one anymore. And even then, I think spending paid crystals on stamina potions is not necessarily the right move unless you absolutely need it, right? Because we do get 12 a day if we just log in at the specific times. We already covered the crystals. Of course, you guys should be spending money in the guild shop and dropping that gold, picking this stuff up every day, but you guys already know that. So yeah, I think that's basically it. There's not much more to say. Like I said, this is not a video to try and convince people to spend. It's just an overview of how I observe spending in this game, how I go about it. And to be honest, even though I came into this game as a Dolphin, I'm kind of, you know, going back to more of like a Minnow, where I'm spending less and less and less. And I think that's just because this game is so free-to-play friendly. I don't really see the need to pull past the costume on any of the banners. And it is more fun for me to not have such a highly developed weapon right off the bat, because then the game is more challenging. I just don't want to stomp everything, you know, super quickly. But yeah, that being said, I'm curious, was this video helpful to you guys? Do you guys spend on the game? If so, what do you think is worth it? You know, I'm always curious to hear from you guys. Makes my day every day. I wake up and get to check the comments and hear from you guys, talk with you guys, hear about you guys conquering the different things you're fighting. And I've had conversations with hundreds of you, and it's just a fun thing going on. YouTube has made such a fun thing, and then Applebot coming out with Ever Crisis has just been super fun for me. And I am going to be doing a video on my thoughts overall on Ever Crisis for like the first 5 months of playing it, essentially. So that video will be coming soon. So yeah, if this video was helpful, drop a like, leave a comment. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. That being said, hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care and peace.